This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I'm here at Cafe Bar Pasta, Dundas West, Toronto, with Chef Jay Scaife. How are you today, Jeff?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Fantastic. Now, what are you doing today?
Today I'm doing our agnolotti. This is a rotating ingredient on our a la carte menu that we do every day. So we just refer to it as the daily agnolotti.
Okay, and those don't look like regular agnolotti to me. They're kind of a different shape, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. It was a design sort of in homage to the egg roll. However, it also came out of the fact that we do it a little bit differently. Normally an agnolotti is all done by hand, but as you can see just over my left shoulder, we have our pasta extruder, and the dough starts there. So it's not your traditional dough. So having said that, it's a bit tighter, it's a bit firmer. So I adjusted the shape and opted not to go for the traditional rippled effect.
Right, okay.
Therefore, making it all by hand, as all agnolottis are. But it gives us a unique shape, and once the agnolotti started to take off, the old adage is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And what are you stuffing these with today?
Today it has bufala ricotta, a little bit of blue crab, zest of an orange, and a little touch of fennel. So nice light summer flavors. Traditionally, well, not traditionally, primarily on our menu we do vegetarian, and it will always be cheese based or just 100% like a mushroom puree or spinach, things of those nature, approachable flavors. But every now and then I throw a little bit of seafood in there because it's quite popular.
Right, okay. So on any one Saturday evening like tonight, how many of these would you be making?
Anywhere between 15 to 20 orders.
Okay.
There's not a contest with the servers, but seeing as how Cafe Bar Pasta is our namesake, the idea is bring them in, get the guests comfortable, ask if they've been here before. If they have, did they try the agnolotti last time? If not, it's going to come to the table, and the server usually starts everybody with an agnolotti. And you get 4 pieces. It's a great little share item, and once they bite into it, we've set the tone. Great flavor. It's not too heavy, and then they can start picking and choosing from the rest of the menu.
Well, last week when I was in here, I had the chance to try that black garlic one that you had. Was that black garlic, ricotta, and spinach?
It was, yes.
That was delightful and really quite special.
Oh, thank you. We actually ran that one for about 10 days at least. Black garlic is just one of those ingredients that comes and goes, but I sort of brought it back, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Now that looks like quite a special pasta machine you have behind you. What's the story behind this thing?
Well, the story is not so much a long one. However, this particular one is made by the Dominioni Italimini group, and this travels across the ocean. It is a pasta extruder, but it is sort of one of a kind here in Canada. Our owner, Tom, became aware of it via George Clooney. Apparently there's a restaurant over in Italy where he phones ahead, chooses his die, they spin off the fresh pasta for him, he eats it, and that's how the attention sort of came to North America. Tom got into not a bidding war, but aggressive negotiations, if you will, about who was going to have the machine here in Canada first. Tom ended up winning, and I ended up receiving one of the best toys a chef can have.
Have you ever played about with one like this before?
Never. It was intimidating in the beginning. You come in, you're used to something like this, and
right, okay,
you see all the dies, and you're like, okay, so now what am I going to do? Next thing you know, you're doing pastas you've never heard of, and to a chef that's very attractive. It's like, all right, I'm going to put campanelli and trecce on my menu, bastoncini. Not to say that other chefs aren't doing it, however, you just don't see it a lot. The machine itself took a while to get used to, as you can see from the dough. It's not your traditional pasta dough, it's kind of crumbly, kind of like sand.
Yeah.
And the idea behind it is there's so much pressure coming out of here and into the extruder. Anyone who's used an extruder will understand the dough, but the common cook may not. And it just forces it right in to the point where when it comes out, it's nice and smooth.
Got you. Right, okay.
And from that, we're able to do all of this, which I just spun. So casarecce, fresh spaghetti, bucatini, and our tagliatelle.
Very nice. So you make all of this up fresh every single day?
Every single day. You know, there's the two sides of the fence when it comes to pasta. And, you know, not that we have an angle or anything of that nature. The two sides are some pastas need to be dry, just to have that bite. And some of the shapes that we are using, purists might critique us for it.
Okay.
However, the fact that we're making it fresh every day, that's exactly what we do. We make fresh pasta. Some of them will have a little bit of a softer approach, so we change it within the dish. I try and do dishes that have a lot of texture as opposed to repetitive bites, one after another. Our bucatini, for example, is duck confit, duck hearts, crispy duck skin, pan-seared foie gras, and the noodle I make with duck eggs. So I'm trying to utilize the whole duck, with the exception of the breast, I guess, and maybe the kidneys. But and you know, that comes from you know, a lot of traditional dishes. But that's what we do, and the texture of the crispy duck skin allows us to change the bite every now and then, and it keeps the pasta interesting. Okay, so we got the sheet. The idea here, again, since it's from the extruder, it's going to be a little tougher than what most people are used to with agnolotti, so I'm just going to stretch it out. Usually 3 or 4 passes. And the best thing with dough always speaks to you. It's a very touch and feel thing. I've always said cooking is about taste, texture, and feel being the literal translation. You know when it feels right, you know when it's wrong. And this dough took a while to get used to. Again, because I'm so used to the wet, more of an eggier version. But once we get it to where we need, we're able to turn that off. We're able just to stretch it. And I'm just going to trim it. Just reach across here, trim it. Best part is I can reuse it, put it back in. And I just use a little bit of water. You can use egg if you'd like, but water does the trick. Got our filling, and I go just below center. All those years of pastry have paid off. You want a nice, even. Leave a little room at the end.
It's quite a steady hand you have there.
Only 1 cup of coffee today.
Right, okay.
And then we're creating a seal. Again, there's you know, different strokes for different folks. Some people might do their agnolottis a little different. Again, ours is a touch different. And then this is where you shape it. This is where the feel comes in. It's kind of relaxing. Pinch off the end. And then start the sizing. This is where you have to be gentle because this is where the dough is a bit drier. Sometimes you get a rip. And of course, a rip in an agnolotti.
Not so good.
Not so good. We want them to taste the filling, not the water it was cooked in.
I see, yeah. That makes sense.
And then pinch, you're making sure you leave enough room because you are going to cut it, whether you're using a roller or, as I do, a knife. Pinch, and that one's a little too small, so that can be a tester. Take a look at the shape, pretty even. And then trim the ends, and then I just take off these little rough edges. Real simple. There we are. And then you just, nice sharp knife, you're being real gentle. When you have the roller, the technique is to push forward and fold it onto itself so it seals. However, I bring it back and pinch. Therefore, you create that instant visual of an agnolotti and creating a nice seal. And there's your finished agnolotti.
That works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's quite beautiful.
And of course, nice fresh pasta. 4 minutes, maybe 5 in the water. The spot that you want to check when it's cooking, is obviously where the pinch is. The guest will bite into the pinch, judge your Dante. They won't judge the center, because the center will always be a touch softer than where you have pinched. So.
Now you also told me you're making some interesting ravioli today. What is the story behind that?
Well, raviolis frequent the menu, more so in the winter. And when we entered the summer, annulati's were taking off, and it was a great vessel. We did everything from ramps to fiddleheads to morels. And the old ravioli die just collected dust. So my friends at Lavoiro came by and said that they had some lovely Snake River Farms beef cheek. They knew I like to use those kinds of cuts. They're great for pasta. And so I slow braised some beef cheek yesterday. And today when I came in, it was all shredded, and I decided to just flavor it with a little touch of salt, a little touch of pepper, and just for fun, I threw in about half a lobe of foie gras. I'm gonna do tonight just an over-the-top dish of just pure gluttony, braised beef cheek with foie gras, sautéed chanterelles, and I saved all the fat from the beef cheek and decided I'm going to make a vinaigrette out of the fat. And just lightly drizzle it. Give it a little bit of acid, a little bit of movement, because it's going to be rich on rich on rich. Yeah. And then, of course, something crispy over the top, like a nice crispy leek. And there's the texture. So I'm going to be making that ravioli.
Well, thank you very much for letting us join you in this pasta creating cave this afternoon. I wish you all the best of luck for service this evening, and thank you very much for joining us at Good Food Revolution, Jay.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.